In the first part of my video, I talked about making these backing plates for my Edge Pro Apex clone. And the reason being I wanted to strop my blades with a leather strop, and this would serve as the backing plate where I put a piece of leather on there and strop away with polishing compounds. But in the second part, or in this video, I want to talk about why I ended up with using balsa strop instead of a leather strop. If you go online like me, new to this hobby, and you look up stropping, it seems like there is quite a huge debate whether you should use leather to strop, use canvas, denim, cloth, and balsa. But the two biggest branches of or methods of stropping is either using balsa, which is right here, or leather. And then there's all the other ones that you can research on your own time. For me though, but don't take this as a how-to or as an instruction on what you should do in order to sharpen your knives, because I'm totally new to this hobby and I'm just learning as I'm going right now, so I could be totally wrong. And if I'm wrong, please, if you know something, let me know. Tell me about it. Write me an email or something. But I'm making these videos just to document everything that I'm doing to this hobby. And hopefully it might help you, or hopefully you might find it useful. But anyways, the reason why I went with balsa stropping, well, first of all, the reason why I want to strop my knives is because I wanted to make them hyper sharp, as my title calls it. And the reason why I call it hyper sharp is because for 90% of the knives that I'll be using in my life, I'll probably not sharpen them to this level. I personally don't find them that useful to be that sharp. And when you polish the bevel, it's really good for push type of cutting. But when you're using your pocket knife to cut strands of wood out, or splinters of wood to make a fire or something like that, I don't think it's that useful. I think a blade with a lower grit edge will bite better. So an analogy would be like using a saw blade to cut a log in half versus using a surgical knife. With a polished edge, it would just be sliding back and forth and you won't be making a lot of progress. But with a toothy blade, it would just catch onto the fibers of the log and rip it right out and lets you cut right through it way faster. So me personally, I think I would stick with 1,000 grit, maybe maximum 2,000 grit for most of my knives. And then for my show knives or my experimental knives, I would really want to see how razor sharp I can get them. And that's why I'm making a balsa strop today. So now, why did I end up with balsa stropping? Basically, it boils down to two reasons. First of all, it's super easy and super cheap to get. Well, maybe that's reason one and reason two. This piece of balsa here, look how long it is, was $1 at a hobby store, and I can get them any time of the day, any time of the week. I have full access to it anytime I want. The leather, on the other hand, here where I live, there's not a lot of leather shops that sell cheap leather fabric or cheap leather scraps. And also there's a huge research on the type of leather you should use. Balsa for me is just balsa. There's different thickness, but leather, there's a whole nother level of research that you should figure out before you really dive into it. And I'm a pretty lazy guy, so balsa it is, because it's easier. And the other reason is, being that it's so easily attainable, I can buy a bunch of these and when I want to polish, I can try a bunch of different types of polishing compounds. So this kit here, 12 pieces, bought it on eBay for $5. It's got, well, they claim polishing compounds ranging from 14 microns all the way to 0.5 microns. So if this is quality, well, I don't think it's, I've never tried it before, but if this is quality compound or somewhat quality compound, I've basically covered the entire range of polishing that I want on metal. I think 0.5 micron is equivalent to almost like, what, 10,000 grit maybe? So that's basically like sharpening your knife against baby skin or something like that. Anyways, that is the reason why I want to use Balsa strop, and the other reason is because, you know, if I don't like the Balsa strop, I can just rip it right off and replace it really easy. Leather, on the other hand, is a bit more harder, and I don't know. I don't really like putting polishing compound on leather and looking and watching it get all dirty. That's just me. If you like leather strop, by all means, strap away with your leather. But for me, it really boils down to relative ease of getting it and the relative price. A piece of leather is a bit more than a piece of balsa here where I live. Maybe it's different in your case where you live, but yeah, that's why I chose to go with balsa. So in this video, I'm gonna be attaching a piece of balsa wood onto my backing template and give it a try on my Edge Pro, and hopefully everything goes well. But again, like I said, I'm like a beginner to this hobby, so please don't take any of these things that I'm saying as an instruction. Just treat it as, you know, another guy who's trying to learn a new hobby and wasting his time sharpening his knife to a level to razor sharpness. Okay, so I've researched about how to cut balsa, and most people recommend just taking an X-Acto knife or any blade that is super thin like this and scoring the balsa until a couple times until you go all the way to the bottom and just snap it off. That would give you the cleanest cut. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll see right now. Here's the finished product. Backing plate made from questionable wood and a piece of balsa glued right onto it. And first of all, I'm going to write on the back the type of compound I'm going to be using, which is the green one first. Or should I start with a white one? Green. Well, I'll be making probably, with the piece of balsa I bought for $1, I'll probably be making 5 or 6 more of these, maybe just 4 more, 4 to 5 more. So I'm going to start off with green, as you know. Again, I went back to Mr. Google and asked what kind of compound I should use. Turns out there is 4 or maybe 3 major types of compound that you should consider. There is the white diamond, which is, I would consider like a starter type of compound. Here the description says it is for light cutting action and coloring on aluminum, brass, copper, gold, platinum, sterling or silver plate and more. So definitely that is not really that great for steel blades like what we have, unless your blade is not made from steel. And then you would move on to green for stainless. And here it says used for high luster on stainless steel as well as other material. So the white diamond is a bit more coarse, and then there is the green compound that you commonly see at hardware stores. A more technical term I think is the chromium oxide that a lot of people use. And earlier I was mentioning about this polishing compound kit that I bought on eBay. You can see here there is indeed a green with, well, there's a light green and there's a dark green. This one is 14 microns, this is 10 microns. And you can also buy those bricks of polishing compounds for, you know, $5-6 at your hardware store. Or you could buy them in bulk from eBay. I bought these two for $3 I think. So the white one I was talking about, the white diamond, and then the chromium oxide. And then when you're done polishing your metal with a green chromium oxide, you might want to step up to the red jeweler's rouge that everyone knows about. That one is called the ferric oxide or iron 3 oxide, and that again is another step up to a even finer grit. And then finally you might want to go into the diamond paste, or is it called cerium oxide I think? It's like the lightish white color ones. So I'm going to start with the green one, or should I start with the white one? I'm going to start with the green one and see how well it polishes first after I sharpen my blades to 3000 grit. And then stay tuned for my other video that I'll be showing you how I strop my blades. So I'm probably gonna use the oil-based polishing compounds. One thing for sure you want to do though is not to mix up your grits or your microns or your polishing compounds, because you're gonna forget, you know, which compound you use on which balsa, and you're just gonna have a big mix up. And the other tip that I learned from surfing the forums is that, well, mostly from the razor blade forums, there's a lot of guys who knows a lot and provides a lot of interesting information on how to strop your razor blade, which I think applies to your pocket knives and your kitchen knives too, if you're willing to take it to that level of sharpness. But one of the most common tip that you would usually hear is not to apply way too much. You know, I see guys on YouTube apply like almost like a inch thick layer of compound on their balsa, and on the forums they're saying that you don't need to do that, and I think it makes sense, because from a lot of feedback and reports from guys who use too much compound, they say that their blade is basically scraping the compound off, and that's just a waste of money and time, and you know, the balsa can't really bind on and hold on to the compound to do a good polishing job, so you're wasting your time and money basically. So what you want to do is just apply a little, not too much. This is not butter, guys, so don't go crazy and apply it on your balsa like it's toast. And then just rub it in with your fingers, or maybe with a toothpick, because I don't really like getting my hands dirty. Let's see if it soaks in first though. Doesn't seem like it's actually binding on. Or maybe it's just not enough. Maybe I should just use my fingers. Again, I cannot stress enough, do not follow my videos as a how-to, because I am as clueless as you are. I am just documenting everything I'm doing on my channel, and hopefully you find it interesting. If you do, please subscribe and like my videos. It really helps and encourages me to make more videos like these. There you go. Seems like fingers work a lot better than using a toothpick, and you can see already a light layer of green compound. This is what, 10 micron. There's this really cool chart online. I'll attach it in this video. It basically tells you a rough average, or rough pointer of what converting microns to grit. So you can, you know, if you sanded your knife to like 3000 grit, it's kind of pointless to go with a black compound, for example, because that is a very low grit. I think it's like in the 3-digit levels. You're just going backwards, I think. That's what I think for now, based on what I know, but I could be wrong. So here, I probably polished my fingers away, all my fingerprints away. But yep, first layer down. Maybe I'll apply a bit more tomorrow after it's soaked into the wood. But stay tuned for my next video. I'll show you how I go about stropping away at my blade. Actually, I should actually make a video of me sharpening my knives, but I'm kind of embarrassed because I don't know if I'm doing it right. I mean, I've done a lot of research and I think I'm doing it right, but kind of shy to show you what I'm doing with my knives. These two knives I sharpened. This one is a 15, I think, or a 14 degree, I think, which I just want to see, like, experiment how sharp 14 degree is. And this one is the 22 degree that Mr. Ben Dale from Edge Pro suggests for most knives. He said, you know, he sharpened so many knives in his life, and it seems like the 22.5 degree is that magical number between super sharp and super tough. But yeah, these two knives are exactly identical. They're Swillings JA Henko. Good German steel, I think. But one has been sharpened to 15 degrees and one has been sharpened to 20 degrees, and I can tell you this blade lasts forever. I barely have to ever, you know, hone it against ceramic rod, but this one is so sharp, oh my god. But I have to like hone it a lot more frequently. So that was a good lesson to test out and learn, which I'll talk about more later. But thanks for watching me and joining me on this boring video of making my balsa strop and applying compound to it. Hopefully you liked it. So if you liked it, please like it, thumbs up, and subscribe for more videos like these. Thanks for watching.